This is The Ruckus and the Menace.
Challenge accepted. No.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games!
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
There you go. There it is.
There's a winner.
Look at that.
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus, and this is episode number 181.
And I'm Spennis the Menace, who went away on a road trip and didn't get sunburned. Or at least not sunburned that badly.
Like red like a lobster?
I mean, I had like a little bit of red, but it wasn't like it was it wasn't awful. Like it wasn't like, my shoulders were like super stiff for about really only like a couple days as opposed to like almost a week.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't get sunburnt until like the last day of vacation, so it kind of covered itself.
You're lucky, because I've had those woes in the past where, like, if we went, like, on a tropical vacation, like the Bahamas or some shit, like, last time we went on, like, a big vacation, it was, like, Hawaii, and I peeled pretty bad, but, yeah, sunburns are no fun.
Yeah,
Especially...
I mean, I may not have a lot of melanin, but but maybe whenever you put it into perspective, I'm probably not necessarily that pale. Because I mean, it was just mostly right around like the curves of my collar, and probably
That's
just had to, like.
That's a farmer's tan, pretty much.
I mean, my forearms pretty much stay about tan virtually year round.
I feel like that's a set notion with me too. But I feel like it's also because I'm mostly outside for break, and then I like to catch a little bit of sun. But also I play baseball on Sundays, so it's like eventually they're gonna get a crisp caramel at some point.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm mostly in a short sleeve shirt, so it was never really that much of an issue. But we do have some channel news, though, Ruckus.
Yes, sir. Do you want me to go first, or does it really matter?
I'll let you roll.
Well, in other news, there's not very much news as far as content coming for my standalone show, Good Raider Ruckus, mainly because I have been just wanting to take a huge break from the game. Yes, people that are on my friends list on Steam that see me play it like every day, telling me to probably quit being a hypocrite to at least do something, but I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for more stuff to come out, and yeah, it's not going to be happening for a while, or at least until I get enough emphasis or energy to put it into it. I've been putting more energy into Battlefield 6, but yeah, gaming for me has been playing older games and even replaying Grand Theft Auto 5. So
well, we will speak on that kind of as we go along here. I do have two updates. Well, the first update, three really, if you consider it. The first update is while I was on vacation, the Mickey K-Line Road to the Show has officially concluded. Because I am wanting to seek other projects. I don't want to get burned out on it. 40 episodes was way too long for me to do it the last time through. So I'm like, once I get through this vacation, I am going to have zero desire to commit further into that series. So I have concluded it after the episode said it was for a reason.
Speaking of MLB The Show, I would like to thank Discord Nitro in advance for giving me access to the bare bones Xbox Live so I could play Diamond Dynasty.
But, sidebar. Or- but what that has translated into me working on as far as another project is that I have now officially, as soon as I came back from vacation, I've started Nostalgia Trippin' Season 2. And the game I chose for it was Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, I chose this one because it was my first collector's edition of a game that I ever bought. And this year was the 10-year anniversary of the game's release. So there was two particular reasons why I went along with it. The series will kick off on June 9th, and the plan for release is expected to hopefully be 2 days a week, starting Tuesdays and Fridays, where I get to record 2 episodes a day throughout the weekend to keep up. The Alex Mann Mario Party Trilogy featuring me. Update with that. We have already completed Mario Party 1 before I went out on vacation. And now that I'm back, Mario Party 2, once we finally get the green light with a couple of the other, with the other, possibly the other 2 people that we are going to have along for the ride. That being Life of Lincoln, possibly Alex Mann's friend QTH. That will be starting here, Lord willing, recording this weekend. Lord willing, recording this weekend if we can manage to make it work. Otherwise, we'll probably start it. We may start it next week. We may start it next week. But at least that's to start recording and then release.
Yep.
But speaking of that vacation, I now am going to move on to our road tripping segment.
Road trip!
Yep, we have a lot of stuff with tripping because there's nostalgia tripping and now we've got road tripping. And this one we called Beachside Spinnis because it was me that went on the road trip this time. And this was to Myrtle Beach with a better half and her mother. And I divided really kind of the perspective of this into really four major things: eats, disc golf, mini golf, and a baseball game that my wife and I got to take in. For the eats, we got to enjoy a lot of numerous things that I had not normally done or not really done in years. We did a Brazilian steakhouse the first night. Man, they had a filet that just was felt like it was butter.
That's when you know it's good. When it just it just melts in your mouth. Oh.
Yep. And then also I got to try lamb leg again, and it wasn't as gamey this time around, so I was like, not bad. I had some Mediterranean food, which more so goes along with her palate than mine. And then I got some seafood while I was out there, and the last night I was out there, man, it's like you have good crab legs when it's like the steaming that they went through was able to make the crab legs so workable. Like so workable that it's like, okay, I could just pull the one thing off and it's like it gets everything.
I feel like crabs just in general are more fun to crack because like I've done like a whole lobster at one point and it was kind of sad because
lobster is also very, very technical because you really only have like 2 areas that you really are gonna have like a solid permittable area to eat, and that is the tail and the claw.
Yeah, the claws are good and everything else. I'm not dogging a lobster, but I do love me a lobster tail.
Yeah. And the snow crab legs, it was like the way how easily I was able to get the crab meat out, it was like as if it was just falling off the bone of a baby back rib that just had the meat fall off the bone. And that's when you know it's done right. The disc golf. I did get to play around while I was out there. I shot under 70 on a course I had never played. And I bought 4 discs while I was down there. I got me a 2026 Sexton Firebird, a new Trash Panda Canyon in the phone case plastic, the new Discraft Tour Series Zone with professional disc golfer Adam Hammis's face on the stamp, and an Innova Calvin Aviator, which was a KC Pro plastic. Felt like I had a solid round that there. Was still kind of getting used to a lot of things with all 4 of the discs. Wasn't too bad at all. Then we actually were able to play mini golf at least 1 round every single day we were out there. And there were a couple of them we played 2, and I think it was one where we played 2 and I swept it. So I had a lot of fun rounds, and even though I came away with 5, my better half got me on the hardest course. And then from there I got a lot of like the technical like touch holes pretty much while we were down there. But the last major thing we got to do on the Tuesday night of the vacation was that my wife and I got to go out to Pelican Stadium and watch the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, who are the low A farm team for the Chicago Cubs, take on the Wilson Warbirds, who are the low A farm team for the Brewers. Now, as far as notable players that played for Myrtle Beach, Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman was definitely the biggest name. But you also had guys like Elvis Andrews, Adam Wainwright, Jason Hayward, Rafael Furcal. So there were a lot of notable ones, and Rafael Furcal has his number retired there at Myrtle Beach. So no one at no Myrtle Beach Pelican can wear number 2. So we were out there. I got the I sent a picture of it to Ruckus, but I got the Copa hat for Myrtle Beach with the full body pelican and the multicolored wings. That hat looked tight, so I got it.
It was very cool.
And we got some very, very close seats too. And they were at minor league baseball. If you can find a good minor league team and all of a sudden like get seats, you can get seats like super close for very affordable prices.
I feel like minor league games just in general are probably more fun to watch because there's just more going on, but who knows?
I mean there's always like more going on, like the different little like side events. But also MLB stadiums, some of them do have real. You have the Racing Sausages in Milwaukee. You have the Racing Presidents in DC. Atlanta for a good while, although I think they discontinued it when I was out there last year. They had the Freeze at one particular point in time. So I mean, you still have some lobbying traditions here and there.
Yeah.
But we got great seats, and the Warbirds won 4-1. But the stud of the game was Pelicans outfielder Eli Lovich for the game we had, and he went 4 for 4 and drove in the Pelicans' lone run with a solo home run in his last at bat. Had himself a day for that particular one.
I'm glad you had fun though.
Oh yeah, And it's nice whenever I have like a minor league baseball team about 45 minutes away. Yeah, there is a high A. The high A affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles is 45 minutes away from where I live. So
Yep.
it's an easy drive, and the seats. And I looked at the ticket prices for the seats, and reasonable. Very reasonable, especially for the low seats around the same area that we got in Myrtle. But I think on that note, I think we move to what we do best in the Eastwood segment. And that is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Rolling it. All right. What is good this week in the good, bad, and the ugly, Spennis?
The good this week is an incredible set of nostalgia for me as the NBA Finals is partying like it's 1999 as the Spurs and Knicks are competing for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. Yes, the series will start this week.
Tomorrow,
And-
pending
Yeah,
or
well, tomorrow at time of recording.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but the reason why I say partying like it's 1999 was because the last time these two teams played each other in the NBA Finals was indeed 1999. And I very much vividly remember my favorite player, like one of my favorite players in the NBA, Tim Duncan, being in that series. I think it was like his third year in the league.
Sounds
Or
about
no.
right.
No, actually, I think it was his second year in the league. It's actually his second year in the league. Because he was drafted and he was the number 1 overall pick in 1997, 97, 98. 98, 99 was his second year in the league, playing alongside David Robinson. And of course, the Spurs had Avery Johnson and Sean Elliott. And then the Knicks at the time had Allen Houston, Patrick Ewing. I believe they even still had Charlie Ward as well, who was, as much to the shock that you're going to say this, that I'm going to say this, Ruckus. Charlie Ward was a former Heisman Trophy winner that went on to play in the NBA.
Interesting.
Yep, from Florida State. And then, Ruckus, I think we've got a little bit of fun coming up in our bad this week, though.
Yep. And this story went off with a bang a week or so ago. And
Yeah.
Chiefs fans might know what we're about to get into, but do you want me to just do the honors?
Well, I think I'll kick it off, and then we get a little simultaneous, and then go right into another bit. Rasheed
All right.
Rice goes directly to jail, does not pass go, nor collects his $200 because he couldn't adhere to his probation, and in our Stephen A. voice, stay off the weed. Duh.
I was
And
gonna I was gonna help the Chiefs win the AFC West again, but then I got high. I was
that they were going
gonna be
to
a wide
win
receiver.
the AFC West again because he was still high.
I would be the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver / guy to throw to, but then I got high.
Oh my goodness! I was also gonna say I was gonna make a bag, but then I got high because he was in a contract year.
Well,
He's in
literally,
a contract year.
he probably literally smoked a bag.
Oh my goodness!
Anyways,
No, we just pulled an Afro. We did a terrible version of the Afro Man bit.
I did a very half-assed rendition.
It was bad. It's bad because we just did it completely a cappella. But all that aside,
Anyways, he's serving 30 days in jail, and also went in like a week before to get his leg fixed up and whatnot, and then this happened. So, yay!
and the downright ugly
Cut his
this week,
ass.
well,
Anyways.
yeah, the downright ugly this week. I feel bad in saying it because NASCAR legend Kyle Busch, NASCAR driver as well, passed away at 41 due to a severe bacterial pneumonia going septic. Like basically that went into sepsis. And it feels bad because at the same time we know how fierce competitors can be. And he fought through, and he was still competing while dealing with all of this. And all of a sudden it went, I think because he pushed himself too hard, I think it went further south.
Yeah, it's definitely not good.
Yeah. It was sad for the NASCAR world, but I think at the same time I think in terms of that, I mean, Kyle Busch did leave a very good legacy for the competitiveness of NASCAR racing. And now I think now that we've got through that somber note, I think we now can move on to a lighter note and get to our stud and dud of the week.
All right. I'll go ahead.
Yep.
So for my stud this episode, I have Johnson County Community College beating Blinn College, which is a college in Texas. I believe a community college. Either way, they won 8-5 on a Friday night win in the NGCAA Division One Junior College World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. I also saw a YouTube video that was posted on MLB on ESPN about Johnson County Community College. That is actually where I graduated with my IT degree. Fun fact. And also another fun fact, Johnson County Community College is also one of those colleges that gets talent from bigger schools where those players end up getting either rejected or something happened along the way, so then Johnson County Community College builds them back up to be very talented.
It's like they're a last chance you kind of situation.
In a roundabout way, yeah. And then honorable mention, I have Patrick Starr, the voice actor for SpongeBob, or for Patrick on SpongeBob SquarePants. He announced the starting lineup for the New York Mets, and it was hilarious just hearing him try to be charismatic. It was the way he did it, the charisma, and just on the fly, like super good flow, never like really like broke the bit, just kept going. For my dud this week, I have, or really the dud for this episode, I have the rough month of May for the Kansas City Royals. 10-18 on a great track for 100 losses if this doesn't get any better.
All right. So my dud this week, and I'm going to start there because number one player in the world, Italian tennis player Jannik Sinner, he went from one game away from advancing to the third round of the French Open to losing in 5 sets to unseeded Argentine player Juan Manuel Cerundolo. And he was right there. The match was clearly for the taking, and it was like the Golden State Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead And of course, that unfortunately all started due to an unfortunate Draymond circumstance, but that's a digression for another time. But Roland Garros is not kind to top seed players. Doesn't matter what level. Or at least where you're at. The red clay can be an equalizer, and really that's why a lot of Spaniards win the French. But my stud goes to Felix Rosenqvist for winning a grand staple of Memorial Day weekend, the Indianapolis 500 at the Brickyard. The finish was the closest finish in history as he overtook David Malukas in the final lap, who finished second, and the photo finish came down to 0.0233 seconds. Now, that I think is less than the amount of time that you would have with really baseball. Like, you really couldn't see a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. It's 150 milliseconds.
Dude, a 70-mile-an-hour fastball at a batting cage you could barely swing at.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like it was really about, it was 233 10,000ths of a second. So that really is 23 milliseconds. And I think those Indy cars were also going probably about 200 mile an hour or more. So that was very, very close. And the shutter speeds had to have been insane just to even get that. Just to get that and see it in full clarity as to who won. But it makes for a very historic Indianapolis 500. And we don't really talk about auto racing a lot, but I found it warranted.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Shake and bake. And speaking of shaking and baking, although this is a completely different type of thing, our color commentary for this week is called Song Title Association. And we have some particular sporting events that had happened recently. And we have a song title that we have to kind of use to kind of describe it and give a brief explanation. The first one here was none other than something that happened just the other day. Actually, our first few. The Cleveland Browns have traded Myles Garrett to the Rams for Jared Verse and multiple picks. Ruckus?
So,
what do you have for association there?
So for the Cleveland Browns, they get a young man, and this is not a YMCA reference, but Jared Verse goes over to the Browns for an aging Myles Garrett, which, I mean, Myles Garrett's still somewhat in his prime.
30. He's 30.
But he just came off of a season where he got the most sacks and broke a record. So good for him, and hopefully he has success with the Rams. But my song for the Browns is Forever Young, because they like to live forever, even if it means having some random other occurrences that the Browns decide to make, like Deshaun Watson. But anyways, I digress. Forever Young by Alphaville.
Yep. I actually went more modern with this take, and actually I was talking about the Rams side of it. in getting Myles Garrett, as they basically said, yes, yes, they said this, F them picks, and they went and decided to spend money like money ain't ish, and so I went with 24 Karat Magic by Bruno Mars, where they basically, the Rams just said, hey, we're just going to spend.
The 24 karat magic could also be the amount of tax cut that you get for working in California and living in California, right?
The California government.
Yeah.
Yep. And the next one, to basically no sense of intrigue, Philadelphia wide receiver AJ Brown is now a Patriot, as he was traded away for 2 draft picks. And Ruckus, I think we know exactly who we're queuing up for you.
Ain't no surprise I won't be here tomorrow. That is No Surprise by Chris Daughtry.
Thank you, Chris. Went with another one just simply because this has absolutely no intrigue. I figured that AJ Brown was probably going to get traded away for picks. So the first thing I said was, tell me something I don't know. By Selena Gomez and The Scene. And that's basically the only way I could leave it here. The next one, Russell Wilson will not be playing football this year, but instead will be talking about football on CBS. Ruckus, your song title here.
Eminent Front by The Who, because that's a put on. And he's coming to the party dressed to kill. Dressed to kill. Because that's how he's going to have to be when he's in the booth.
Huh. I basically have said that this in Russell Wilson's career is a turning of the page. So I went with Turn the Page by Bob Seger. And last but not least, Major League Baseball has put in proposals for a salary cap. And of course, the owners and the players are nowhere close to an agreement. But the collective bargaining agreement that they're currently on ends in 6 months.
I can just, every time we talk about the salary cap with the MLB, I just have like this cartoon in my head of Bryce Harper just getting really angry and just flipping any table he sees when someone even mentions a salary cap for the MLB. You just hear a roar, 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 roar. He's just like foaming at the mouth. Just angry. Yeah. He's like Animal from the Muppets.
So what's the song title you're going with here?
Oh shit, I didn't really have anything, if it was Bryce Harper's, reaction to it, it would be, Surrender by Godsmack. Because he would be trying he would try to put his sweet surrender into the MLB to please not put a salary cap in.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to get that whether we like it or not.
It would be interesting to see how the owners respond and how the money management goes, because what happens if you don't? So like, they had some projection that it'd be like 270 million, and there'd still be from at this point, like if the Dodgers, for example, they'd be way over that because they spent a bunch of money on Ohtani and all them. But granted, Ohtani's has a lot of deferred stuff until he gets paid the big bucks when he's retired. But um, what do the teams do? Like, let's say the salary cap for the Royals is like 150 or 170. What do they have to use all that 170, or can they pocket that? Or is that kind of what they're getting away with currently and why they're doing salary cap?
And I think they're trying to put in a salary cap to really balance the league along, especially in terms of money spending wise. But I simply have said that the reason why I think we're going to end up with a salary cap in baseball, whether we like it or not, is because I think this is where Rob Manfred is trying to take the game. And of which my song title choice kind of fits along with this in saying it's the end of the world as we know it by REM. Yes, I am actually saying this, that as far as the concept of MLB and no longer having a salary cap, it's the end of the world as we know it. And me personally, as a baseball fan, I feel fine. I am completely fine with baseball going to it. Every other sport, every other Big Four sport has something as far as a salary cap. I have even said before on this podcast that if the MLB goes to a salary cap structure very similar to the NBA and come up with different ways to work around it via the NBA, like the NBA does, I think that is the way that it would make the most sense. I think Bryce Harper's not necessarily wanting a salary cap because, number one, he wants to make a whole bunch of money. But number two, it kind of really takes all the money that the players possibly can earn away. Not necessary, but not exactly, because you can regulate it. And plus, I think there would also be ways that you could restructure, just like the NFL, if they come up with a luxury tax system very similar to the NBA, with a restructuring system very similar to the NFL, I think Major League Baseball has kind of a very workable salary cap that you could still get a lot of great players in one place. And still find some sort of parity. And still be able to find some sort of parity along the way. Because I think they're trying to make it so that market matters less for baseball as far as winning a World Series. But baseball has done that even without a salary cap anyway. Just look at the 2003 Florida Marlins as an example. But yes, I really am thinking that, baseball as we know it has changed so much. And I think another change is going to happen because we're basically just delaying the inevitable at this point. And we know exactly what ends up with Thanos as he prepares to snap, that he is inevitable.
I'm sorry, Mr. Shark, but I don't feel so good. Anyways, let's get right into the lights, camera, action, and I will talk about what I have been watching. So I finally rewatched all of Ozark. My opinions on it are, I didn't really care for season 3 as much, but my God, it made me care even less for season 4. But I still pushed through it just to say that I did it and actually understand what kind of crap was happening in that show. And then Euphoria, I am on the last episode because they come out every week or so, like every Sunday night. And I think Euphoria season 3 has fallen off a cliff. I think they're done straight up with the series. They probably could have just left it at season 2, but I don't know.
They probably can't even afford to keep Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya on it anymore.
I'm just kind of tired of uh like that whole thing, because like at that point in season 3 they're pretty much all grown up, like they graduated high school and whatnot. But yeah, other than that, I've been kind of just watching stuff on the side. Tom Segura's Bad Thoughts season 2 came out on Netflix last week, and I thought it was pretty good. He's better at doing sketch comedy, I feel like, than actual stand-up in current day for Tom Segura.
Well, there are certain comedians that are better live than they are in their recorded material. And there are some that are better in a recorded material setting than they are live. So you may be thinking that Tom Segura may be better in pre-recorded material than he is actually live.
I just like his earlier stuff, if that makes sense.
Well, yeah, but I think even then content changes over time, and sometimes content is not as... They try to find that so many comedians or whoever else may try to find ways to stay relevant, and just their style doesn't necessarily work with sometimes the subject matter.
True.
So it may be more that Tom Segura has probably spent more time missing the boat, while maybe, say, Nate Bargatze
Yeah,
has been
I like
finding what really, really works.
Yep, and recently, speaking of Tom Segura, he has his own studio called YMH Studios. That's where Your Mom's House lives. That's where a bunch of other comedy podcasts that he has with his buddies lives. Um, him and Ari Shafir got the show back for This Is Not Happening by doing a last time only show called The End, which kind of had the same vibes as This Is Not Happening, the Comedy Central series with Ari Shafir and Tom Segura and all those comedians that would talk at a club, like a small club, and talk about crazy things that they encountered. But yeah, other than the watching stuff, for playing for me, Battlefield 6. It's either that or a little bit of Arc Raiders or some other random game that I haven't played in a while. Because that and Windrose. I've been playing a little bit of that, but I want to also get into it with more people. It just feels kind of like
So
a
the
grind.
movie, yeah. So the movie that we watched on vacation was a movie called The Sheep Detectives. Have you heard about this one?
Is it a animated kids movie?
No,
I'll look
it
it
is
up.
not. It is a live action, no foul language at all in it.
Oh, it's got Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, Brett Goldstein is two different sheep in it. With two of the same kind of sheep and then and basically what it is that Hugh Jackman's character goes through a certain thing, gets murdered, and it's ultimately up to the cop that everyone thinks is a fool and the sheep and pretty much Hugh Jackman's character sheep that he reads murder mysteries to before they go to bed. And
I
talking
bet you
about how to
that
solve different.
I bet you that Chief says, "Let's go to bed."
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, but yes, it's a whole concept of how these sheep help solve their owner's murder. Help solve the murder of their shepherd. And it really is a solid like it really is a solid movie. It reviewed well for a reason. And I found it very charming. But for games that I have been playing, along with I've had conversations with our fellow first option talking about a game that I had been playing called Replaced. And I stopped that one because the speed transitions from traversal and level to the combat segments was like the speed I would say the combat was pretty much like being on broadband internet, while traversing around areas felt like your old mama's dial-up. It was that jarring of a speed difference.
Mm.
Yep. Then I've played Forza Horizon 6, which is another visual marvel. The game plays very well. I do need to get more time on it, but I'm also working around with a couple of different things there. I've been also playing Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, which I pretty much played through a good amount of on vacation. It is a platformer that is more based on discovery and curiosity rather than actual conquest. Call of the Elder Gods, which is more of like a puzzle adventure. And then another roguelite that I kind of got my hands on a little bit was called Black Jacket. And interesting how you would look at Blackjack in there is that, yes, the concept is like you're basically playing a roguelike head-to-head competitive, like head-to-head blackjack, where you manipulate different cards and have certain cards have different abilities type ordeals, very much like a Balatro. Like it just in blackjack form. So I think you're finding that people are trying to also use the roguelite sauce for different styles of card games like Balatro or Dice, because I saw one of those earlier this year. So I've been finding little bits and pieces of those. And this is also on top of what I've been recording with Uncharted 4. And there's a lot of games I'm eventually going to start preparing for down the line.
Yep.
But now we go ahead and round third and head for home. The Giants are bringing back Odell Beckham Jr., and they also have signed Juju Smith-Schuster. Will Jackson Dart have an improvement with these receivers to go along with a potential return of Malik Neighbors?
We will have to see. We will have to see if Jackson Dart has a sophomore slump, but also just the health of the offense and team in general. Because that was like their biggest crutch, but was Scadaboo and Dart being out for a long period of time after they were blossoming out.
Well, I think that the key, for Neighbors has got to be stay healthy. Odell Beckham Jr., it's like, what kind of talent does he have left? And Juju is, can John Harbaugh help scheme an offense around to make him productive?
Yeah, and hopefully his legs stay intact. MetLife is very well known for bringing many ACLs to the grave of MetLife.
Oh, just major injuries.
Yeah.
And we've already had our first set of game announcements as this week is considered the summer of gaming.
Technically, it was EA that, or not EA, E3 that started that off.
Yeah, but this is it's that time of year. The PlayStation State of Play was just the other day, just a short time ago, and they have unveiled a couple of notable games that I have some interest in. But then there's also Summer Game Fest this weekend, an Xbox showcase, and potentially a Nintendo Direct. Anything you're hoping for it around this that you want to hope for at this particular point in time?
I'm not necessarily particularly looking at any new games at the moment as far as like anticipation, but um I of course want to play GTA 6 when it comes out if I can. And then what else? I mean, not a whole lot, to be honest with you. I'm hoping that the 007 game continues to get more patching and support for the game, because some people are complaining that the game doesn't run very well, but others are saying that the game in general is just amazing for what it's worth, and they're the same studio that made Hitman, so it's like it's probably fairly easy for them to like make that story good and righteous.
Well, here's where I'm at right now. I'm a few games behind on what I'm wanting to try and get my hands on. I still have to get my hands on Mouse. I still have to get my hands on Lego Batman. I still got to get my hands on 007. But 007 right now is kind of third on that list. There's going to probably be whatever games kind of like stem out of Game Pass coming in that may give my look and attention. There's also, there's what I'm hoping for is I'm wanting to see a lot more stuff that kind of works further down the pipeline. Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis is coming out in February. Onimusha is going to be September 25th. Wolverine September 15th. So Wolverine's going to find its spot kind of like elevated up the board. But I want to try and get to it after. I want to try and see if I can get to it after I get to 007. But just a matter of timing. I'm looking forward to what Nintendo's kind of got coming up down the pipe, because Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave is supposed to come out later this year. There's a couple of other games that kind of have like an interesting fall-in spot as to what I potentially want to see come along, but just a matter of timing and whether or not I can get my hands on all of them, or as many of them as I can, at the performance of where I want to play them at, because right now the PC is the best performer I got.
Yep.
And on that note, I think we wrap up episode number 181 here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Ruckus and the Menace podcast. This is episode number 181. I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
And I'm Spanish the Menace. And
we'll
until the next one,
hugs and hand pounds.
Hugs and hand pounds, everybody.
All right, sweet.